Has Faker gone L9? Is he actually running it with Disco NUNU? Hello Summoners and welcome to another ProGuides video. I'm Dan and today we're going to be talking about NUNU mid. Yeah, that's right. For years, hovering NUNU anywhere but jungle and champ select usually was a threat, taking the lobby hostage and turning it into a game of chicken to see who would dodge first. But in Korea, NUNU has been a mid laner for a long time, but is more of a niche pick in a select few situations. So why is it so powerful now? Why are more than 1/4 of all NUNUs, including Faker, rolling it down mid? To start, we'll have to look at what they changed and how that affected him so much that a former troll pick became an oppressive cheese pick with a lot of winning matchups. But before we get started, here's today's question of the day. What's your favorite off-meta pick? Please do let us know your answer and reasons down in the comments below. And while you're at it, make sure to join our Discord. The link for that can be found in the description box under the video. Now, without further ado, let's get started. As I already said, NUNU was already a niche pick mid. But outside of very certain situations, pretty much all NUNU players played him in the jungle. On 10.13, he received seemingly minor buffs that were aimed at giving him some alternative itemization choices. Instead of just buffing his role as a jungler, he became a more than solid mid laner, with his W and E providing excellent wave clear, and his Q allowing him to sustain any attempt the enemy mid laner makes at poking him out. The combination of near instant wave clear and basically infinite sustain means that NUNU can roam constantly between waves, using his W's snowball to pressure the map. Strong on its own, this is especially good if you're duoing with the jungler and can coordinate ganks together. Pretty solid so far, right? While it is an extremely strong pick, you want to be mindful of his weaknesses. His playstyle is very linear. Use W and E to shove the wave, then roam to a side lane to gank an opponent. CC and terrain abilities can stop this, so be mindful of that. His other spells are very short-ranged, but he has to engage a gank from an angle behind his opponent or from far away to build up speed to successfully gank. Additionally, if the enemy team puts effort into warding, you have to clear out that vision and pull off ganks. NUNU needs to get kills off of his roams to put himself ahead. Otherwise, if he's behind in the mid-game, he's just a CC bot with very underwhelming damage. So now that you know a bit about his strengths and weaknesses, why should you actually play NUNU? What does he provide that makes him worth picking over the classic mid lane champs? Many meta champs at the moment are immobile, especially bot lane, and that means high success rate on your roams. Additionally, as telegraphed as his playstyle is, most of the popular mid laners in the meta at the moment simply can't answer NUNU's snowball, shove, and roam playstyle. Specifically, you want to look to pick NUNU into mid lane champions that fall under these categories. 1. Low wave clear. 2. No way to disrupt snowball. 3. Champions with low damage or burst playstyles, since consistent damage can actually kill NUNU. Assassins like Zed, Fizz, and Cat are good examples of mid lane champs that have an overall high pick rate right now, but also can't do a single thing to stop NUNU's plans. They lack CC to stop his snowball, and any damage they attempt to deal him is negated with a single Q on a minion. Outside of your own matchup, you want to pick him when the enemy takes immobile champs like Aphelios and Ashe bot lane, so you can repeatedly gank them and snowball out of control. So those are some things that you want to pick NUNU into. But to avoid a miserable time, here are some mid lane champs you want to avoid at all costs, thanks to their ability to either disrupt your snowball, kill you, or take advantage of the free lane to just scale up as a hyper carry. Cass, Syndra, Akali, Kassadin, Karma, Twisted Fate. In addition to your own lane, if the enemy has a mobile ADC like Ezreal as their bottom lane carry, odds are your ganks won't be too successful and you're better off just not locking NUNU in, because as I said before, if he can't snowball off ganking other lanes, he's pretty much just a CC bot. Some other notable counters in general are champs with spell shields, since they just eat the snowball and run away, as well as Olaf and Trundle, since they just completely shut down what NUNU's kit is trying to do. Nocturne, Sivir, Morgana, Olaf, Trundle. Okay, so we've covered NUNU's pros and cons and some matchup info, so now how do you actually play him? His playstyle is focused on one thing: get priority and use it to roam and gank side lanes. With your constant roams, it's like the enemy team is playing against two junglers. To execute this, back up to your tier 2 turret and let the minion waves meet in the middle of the lane. Start rolling your W snowball down the lane, letting it roll over the melees, and letting it go as it's on top of the casters. This one-shots the caster creeps, and you can use your E, Q, and auto attacks to finish off the rest of the wave. Then just head up or down the river and look to pull off a gank when possible. If no lane is gankable, you can also just take the free reset, since you shove so fast that every recall with NUNU is pretty much a cheater recall. In teamfights, your playstyle is pretty much the same as lane phase. engage with W, then use your E to slow and root as many enemies as you can, prioritizing immobile carries. Once your E's root goes off, channel an ult, holding it as long as you can to blow their carries up. Remember to cancel it early if they're about to escape, especially if you think they might be trying to flash out at the last second. Here are some extra tips to get the ball rolling and keep it rolling. When your team has taken Scuttle Crab, you can wait on the movement speed shrine it grants until the enemy laners overextend. The extra movement speed it gives can give you a surprising super speedy snowball gank that the opponents can't even react to. With level 1 home guards, you can actually snowball fully across the map into the enemy jungle. This means if you can correctly guess where the enemies are watching in their jungle, you can speed in with a practically undodgeable snowball and net a free first blood. Even with no items, a full channel NUNU ult does an incredible amount of damage. Once you throw some AP into the mix, the ult can one-shot entire teams when executed properly. Though hard to consistently pull off in a team fight, one old-school tactic is called the Empire, where your team baits the enemy into chasing them towards a bush you're waiting in. Once they get close, you start to channel your ult, which doesn't reveal you, but does slow the enemies when they're in the radius. By the time they realize what's going on, it's too late and you just wiped out their entire squad. NUNU's consume at max rank is almost as good as a level 18 smite. Since you max it first, you have a 940 true damage ability to secure or steal dragons, Rift Herald, and Baron, especially early game when it outdamages smite by a huge margin. To really master NUNU, go into Practice Tool and practice the different angles you can gank from. It can take some time to learn how to drift around different corners, be it for level 1 cheese or just a roam to the bottom lane. Nothing feels worse than losing a free kill because you crash into a wall or can't quite turn enough to catch your opponent. For runes, you should be running Dark Harvest, Cheap Shot, Eyeball Collection, Relentless Hunter, Celerity, and Water Walking. An alternative page is Phase Rush, Nimbus Cloak, Celerity, Water Walking, Cheap Shot, and Relentless Hunter. The first page is better for damage, and as a mid laner, that's generally what you want. The second page is what a lot of NUNU jungles are running, since it's usually their job to engage fights. But if your team is loaded with damage and lacking engage, you could run it mid if needed. As far as items go, you want to start Doran's Ring, picking up tier 1 boots and a Dark Seal early, while building into Proto Belt as your first completed item. Boots are flexible, Merc Treads if you need the tenacity, Ninja Tabby if the other team has a lot of AD threats, Boots of Swiftness if you just want that little bit of extra speed to stick to your enemies, or Sork Shoes if you simply want more damage. Build into Deadman's Plate and upgrade your Dark Seal to Medjai's Soul Stealer. With these 4 core items done, your last 2 slots are very flexible. You can go Thornmail against AD heavy comps with a lot of healing. Spirit Visage is good if you want some MR and more healing for yourself. Abyssal Mask can complement your own AP teammates. Liandry's is a super strong item if you want to up your damage output while adding a bit to your tankiness. Or if you just want to get as tanky as possible while ulting in the middle of the entire enemy team, buy Gargoyle's Stoneplate. Just remember, its active will make you really tanky, but also massively reduces the damage you deal. And that is pretty much all you need to know about NUNU mid. Remember, it's a good idea to practice him in Practice Tool before trying to apply everything you learned here, because driving those snowballs can be tricky. Remember to let us know what your favorite off-meta pick is in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. Can't wait to see you back for our next video, and good luck out there on the Rift.